how JK Rowling is not racist, she's just transphobic, right? Wrong. Because you cannot be both transphobic and also not racist.
All right, guys, welcome back for another Normal Gays React video where we take on insane LGBT discourse from the perspective of normal gay people who haven't gone insane yet. I'm Brad Polumbo here with TikTok extraordinaire Clarkson Lawson. Clarkson, they're talking about JK Rowling again on TikTok.
Always.
Yeah,
they always are.
To be fair, she talks about them a lot too. The alphabet people, particularly trans and non-binary and Q plus and all that. But some interesting discourse is emerging that we should offer our thoughts on. Let's listen to this first video.
If you're transphobic, you're also racist. If you're racist, you're also sexist. If you're sexist, you're also transphobic. If you're transphobic, you're also homophobic. Let me explain. You cannot be hateful towards one group of people and claim to be not hateful and accepting of another group of people, because intersectionality, that's a word I think a lot of you have never heard of or forgot. I just got into a conversation with my partner and we were talking about JK Rowling and how JK Rowling is not racist, she's just transphobic, right? Wrong. Because you cannot be both transphobic and also not racist. Because if you support black people, if you support any people, you also support the trans people who fall under that category. If you're hateful towards one group of people, inevitably you are being hateful towards all people. Because at some point, the groups that you're being hateful towards are going to intersect. You can't say, I support women but don't support trans women or don't support gay women. Like, you can't pick and choose where you want to be supportive or pick and choose where you want to be hateful.
Oh my God.
You kind of can, though.
You can, because the thing is when you say you support women, you're saying you support all of the things that are associated with being a woman. Being gay is a separate part of the identity that's not specific to women. So it's like, they use intersectionality as a way to prove correlation without causation. Does that make sense? It's always just an excuse to say, okay, well, if you're racist, you're also transphobic. You're this. Also, JK Rowling's not even transphobic, really, when you actually
depends what that means. I think she's pretty bitter at this point, and it shows. But she has understandable reasons to be. She's pretty acerbic talking about these issues now, but she has reasons to be. They've harassed her and threatened her and attacked her to no end.
Yeah, but I would say, like, not wanting them in her spaces isn't necessarily transphobic. I don't know. I guess it depends.
She says more than that now, though. I mean, I think it's a waste of time to argue whether somebody's transphobic or not, because that word's been watered down to the point of meaninglessness. And the better question is, are they correct? But I just think this logic is just literally untrue. The idea that you cannot support one group if you don't support the other group. I know a lot of people who are pro-gay, but not really supportive of trans. I know people who are, you know, maybe a little bit sexist, but support gay people, but, you know, aren't racist. Like, it's just literally not true. All humans have different degrees of bias, and sometimes they overlap, but like you literally can support a group. I'll give you an example. I'm sure this woman would agree. She does not support criminals, hardcore violent criminals. Well, but if you support black people, some of them are violent criminals. If you support women, some of them are violent criminals. You can't support one group if you don't support members of all groups, because the groups oversight. It's a completely like brain dead take. It's just literally untrue.
Well, it is actually brain dead. It is the brain trying to oversimplify a complex solution and save calories. It's like I'm not kidding. Like, your brain will oversimplify things into dualistic thinking, or just say, you know, everything is racist, because it's much easier for me to comprehend than to actually look into these claims and grasp the nuance. So you're right. It's quite literally, I mean, her brain's not dead. It's actually doing fairly well because it's not using the energy that it should be to understand what she's saying. Yeah.
It's in sleep mode. But I also think there's something disingenuous about it. Like this is also a tactic that they're trying to bully you into agreement on every social issue by conflating it with everything else. So like basically everyone agrees that racism is wrong, but there's some pretty serious concerns about what she would label transphobic, like not wanting to transition kids, not thinking trans women and women's sports is fair. Many of those things would be labeled transphobic by some people, but yeah, people with common sense are like, no, those are correct opinions. Well, she's trying to muddy the waters and I think silence people by conflating it with things that we all agree are evil, like racism. Like to a lesser degree, we all agree homophobia is bad. I think there's a kind of bullying, emotional manipulation aspect to this rhetoric as well.
Well, yeah, they use it to exert social power over people because if they can back you in a corner, if any of your opinions don't align with theirs, they can then accuse you of being racist, transphobic, anything in the book, any name. It opens up their vocabulary of words to call you as a way to shame you into submitting to their ideas. It is bullying. You're absolutely right. And honestly, most leftist ideas are just bullying wrapped up in a bunch of filler words. That's really what it is. And that's why it frustrates me because in school, I remember I was not popular, but the weird kids would always be bullying me for some reason when I would try to be friends with them because I felt bad for them. And then I'd be like, wait a second, why are you bullying me? So then I would start bullying them. And it just reminds me of that. It's like when like the bully needs to get bullied. So that's what we're doing here. That's at least what I'm doing.
Yeah, and the other thing though is it also waters it down. Like they call everything racist. And then it loses its power. And now I think we actually have some racist shit going on. And people are immune to it or not that bothered by it because they throw it around like candy on Halloween.
I know. I open Twitter every day and I'm like, oh, wow, that's an actual racist. Like, that is an actual Nazi. I'm talking to my friends. I'm like, oh, no, that person's an actual racist. And they're like, an actual racist? I'm like, yes. And I wouldn't use that word unless I actually meant it. And
But
it's
they
crazy.
have for
But
so long.
right. So they've desensitized everyone. Even like my own friend group doesn't take it seriously when you call someone a racist because they just assume, that it's some leftist getting their feelings hurt, making a claim about.
Well, there's another take from this person that I want us to react to because I think it's kind of funny.
Gay and straight doesn't exist and everybody's queer. Listen to me. The only constant in this life is change, right? And sexuality has to do with who you're attracted to, not necessarily who you'll date or who you'll admit you're attracted to, but it's about who you're attracted to. So I think if you gave everyone on this planet, gay or straight, however you identify, and I'm speaking only about these two binaries because obviously queer and pan already includes everything else. If you gave a gay person long enough on this planet, and if you gave a straight person long enough on this planet, that you would see, whether they admit it or not, you would find, like if you did a study of their brain or something, that they were attracted to someone of the same or opposite gender, depending on how they identify.
I don't, in fact, think everyone is queer or that straight and gay don't exist. I do think sexuality is more of a spectrum. Unlike sex or gender, it actually is a spectrum. But I don't think everyone is queer. No one is straight.
Yeah, and we talked about this about how I think more people are bisexual than they say they are. And there was a recent study that just came out where they studied the brains of men, and 1 in 5 men got sexually aroused by the opposite sex who identified as straight. So, yeah. So I think that she kind of has a point here, but I think that the fact that everybody is queer is where she's off. I think a lot of people are that don't claim to be. They're either bisexual or gay, but I don't think that gay people who are not attracted to women or vice versa are going to just somehow become attracted to them as they get older. It's kind of giving conversion therapy a bit. I don't know. It's like you get so woke that you end up on the opposite side. I think that's kind of what's happening here.
Yeah, that's my issue with it is like there's some truth to the fact that more people are a little bit on a spectrum or fluid than you might think, but a lot of people aren't. And most people, I don't want to say never, most people's sexuality does not in fact change and can't change. And you're kind of undoing some of the arguments that got people to accept gay people when you suggest, sexuality is made up and just a feeling and can change, and everyone's a little straight and everyone's a little queer. It's like you said, it is giving a little bit of woke conversion therapy, and I'm not sure it's particularly insightful, correct, or helpful.
Not at all.
All right, guys, let us know what you think in the comments. Hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to Clarkson's YouTube channel, linked in the description, and stay tuned for more normal gays content coming up soon.